Hello everyone, welcome back again to Liverpool Report today. We've got the latest updates on our beloved club Liverpool. But before we dive in, make sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of Liverpool Report news. Let's get started. A whole host of familiar faces descended on Anfield for a charity match pitting a team of Liverpool legends against Chelsea, including Bjorn Tore Kvarme, the agent of Arsenal captain Martin Odegaard. The match in question, which is the latest in a long line of charity matches the Reds have been involved with in recent years, finished 2-0 to the home team. Former England striker Peter Crouch bagged a brace and delighted the locals by digging out his iconic robot celebration in front of the Kop Kvarme was among those in attendance, but in this instance, Arsenal fans have nothing to be concerned about. The 52-year-old spent 2 years with the Reds in the late 1990s before hanging up his boots and becoming an agent. He was named among the substitutes for the game, which was put on to raise money for the LFC Foundation. Kvarme is part of the Nordic Sky Agency, who represent Odegaard. The Gunners captain is among a cluster of high-profile Norwegian players represented by Kvarme, according to the agency's website. He was also part of the squad of legends who represented Liverpool last year against Ajax, in a match where the late Sven-Goran Eriksson was afforded the chance to live out a boyhood dream by managing his beloved Reds during his brave battle with cancer. Crouch's double was enough to secure a memorable win for some of the Liverpool greats of years gone by. A star-studded team took to the field, including likes of Steven Gerrard, Sami Hyypiä and Jerzy Dudek. It was a historic afternoon at Anfield, with Natasha Dowie becoming the first female player to represent Liverpool in a Legends football match after she was brought on as a substitute for Mohamed Sissoko towards the end of the first half. The Reds were managed by Kop royalty in the form of Kenny Dalglish. Sander Westerveld, a former teammate or current Liverpool boss Arneslot, also featured in goal after Dudek picked up an injury midway through the first half. Liverpool legend John Barnes has told Mohamed Salah that he needs to keep the accelerator down until the end of the season if he wants to scoop personal awards. Salah is enjoying a remarkable campaign for Liverpool, who are poised to claim the Premier League title. The Egyptian star has contributed 32 goals and 22 assists in just 43 matches so far this season, and has already ensured his most prolific season in a Liverpool shirt. His consistency at the top end of the pitch has been key to Arne Slot's side, taking a 12-point lead in the Premier League title race, and Salah should lift the trophy for the second time in his career. That is Liverpool's only remaining goal this season after they lost the Carabao Cup final against Newcastle, were dumped out of the Champions League by Paris Saint-Germain and exited the FA Cup at the hands of Plymouth. But as well as the Premier League trophy, Salah will have one eye on individual recognition. Former Liverpool winger Barnes thinks that, while Salah is ahead of the chasing pack, he isn't guaranteed Player of the Year awards. Speaking to PokerScout, he name-checked captain Virgil van Dijk and midfielder Dominik Szoboszlai as alternatives. When asked who the contenders were, Barnes said, "It really depends on what happens between now and the end of the season. I know players who have won the Player of the Season because they've done well between March and May. They may not have done well before, but of course, that's what we remember. That's the freshest information." When the end of the season comes, we think about who's done well and who's doing well, rather than thinking, well, they did really well up until January, but then of course between March and May they didn't, so it really depends on what happens between now and the end of the season. From Liverpool, you have to look at the last 2 or 3 matches, and Salah hasn't done much, and if he continues to do that, maybe he won't win it. It's hard to look beyond Liverpool players when thinking about the contenders because they've been the best team in the league and the most consistent team. Mo hasn't impressed me more than others. Szoboszlai has impressed me. Virgil has been really good. It has been a really good team performance. From the end of the season, it really depends on who has done well. The whole Liverpool team has been fantastic. I'd give Virgil more of a chance to be named Player of the Season because of what he's actually done. Up until this point, he's been our most consistent performer. The international break is just about halfway done, and Liverpool boss Arne Slot will have his mind firmly focused on the return of the Premier League. The Dutchman has been without his squad and has the task of facing Everton in the Merseyside derby when domestic football returns. The Reds entered the break off the back of defeats to Paris Saint-Germain and Newcastle that have ensured the Premier League now remains the club's only avenue for success. 9 games remain in the division to convert their healthy 12-point lead into a 20th domestic crown to mark Slot's debut season in style. Slot has already seen an addition to his injury concerns in the shape of Ryan Gravenberch, who was pulled out of the Netherlands squad. He will be hoping for a clean bill of health between now and next weekend. Trent Alexander-Arnold's future remains up in the air as his Liverpool contract ticks down until the end of the season. Real Madrid remains a potential destination after the Reds knocked back offers in January about another Spanish giant are said to have tried their chance. Reports in Spain suggest Barcelona have sounded out the Liverpool vice-captain ahead of him becoming available for free in the summer, but were knocked back. The fullback's mind is said to be firmly on making the move to Madrid. Alexander-Arnold is already said to know his salary and that a long-term contract awaits at the Bernabeu. The free transfer is all but done, it is claimed. Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson has withdrawn from the Brazil squad after a sickening clash of heads during the match against Colombia. The shot-stopper collided with former Spurs star Davinson Sanchez during a World Cup qualifying match on Thursday. Alisson was substituted in the 78th minute, and Liverpool have confirmed that their play will fly back to Merseyside. A statement from the club on Friday read Alisson Becker has departed the Brazil national team setup and will return to Liverpool. The goalkeeper was forced off in the second half of his nation's World Cup qualifier with Colombia in the early hours of Friday following a collision. Alisson is travelling back to Merseyside and will undergo assessment from the Reds medical staff. Georgi Mamadashvili has his eye on becoming Liverpool #1 when he arrives at the club in the summer. The Georgian goalkeeper completed a transfer to Anfield in August, but remain on loan at Valencia rather than joining up with Slot. And I am going to Liverpool to fight for the #1 spot, he told Geo Team after Georgia's 3-0 victory over Armenia on Thursday. I will go there to train at my best, and I don't know what they will decide afterward. I don't decide who plays and who doesn't. When this international break is over, the club season will be entering the home straight and honours will be decided. Manchester City, despite their strictly indifferent form, remain the bookmakers' favourites to win the FA Cup, while Arsenal and Aston Villa are considered relative outsiders when it comes to raising the Champions League trophy in Munich on May 31st. And of course, the only uncertainty about the destination of the Premier League title is when Liverpool win the title, not if. Similarly, it would seem the destination of the top individual honours in English football is also a simple formality. Mohamed Salah is the top scorer and top assist provider in the Premier League's best team. His numbers are great. His hopes of collecting the 2025 Ballon d'Or were probably extinguished by PSG, but he seems a shoo-in for the domestic accolades. But when members of the Football Writers Association were originally asked to vote for the Footballer of the Year, the English game's oldest individual award, first won by Sir Stanley Matthews in 1948, they were asked to consider who by precept and example had been the best player. And as sensational as Salah has been, that is why I am sorely tempted to vote for Bruno Guimaraes at the end of this season. He has not been the most outstanding performer in English club football this season. He has probably not been the most outstanding performer for Newcastle United this season. But the way he led Newcastle in the Carabao Cup final last Sunday, and the way he spoke after the match, truly reflected a commitment to the supporters. It truly reflected a love of the community that gives him so much love. Tearfully, he spoke about it being the best day of his life, about wanting to be remembered as Alan Shearer is remembered after he left the club, about Newcastle being his second home. He continued in the same vein with subsequent messages on social media. Look, Guimaraes could yet end up making a big money move this summer, and his words might not carry the same weight of importance. We all know how football works, but last Sunday, he showed a true understanding of who makes clubs great. The fans, not the owners. And the captain showed true camaraderie when sharing trophy-hoisting privileges with former captain Kieran Trippier and Jamal Lascelles, the club captain who has been out for a year with a serious knee injury. This was only the Carabao Cup, don't forget, and for those with no vested emotion in the club, perhaps the scenes at the end of the win over Liverpool might have seemed a bit much. But if anyone had any of those thoughts, they were soon banished by the words and deeds of Bruno, a Brazilian who articulated and exemplified everything that is special about the relationship between footballers and fans. And while he has no chance of being named as the Footballer of the Year, he would be a deserving winner.